I feel like the camera is too high again. If I can adjust it without changing the focus. And I'm kicking the table here. You know, I hate mirrors. And I do this and I look at myself the whole time. I'm like, oh man, I'm getting old. I look like an old man. I guess I am an old man. I'm going to be a grandpa soon, huh? Well, thank you, Richard. Yeah, so if you didn't know, if you go to the Discord, I did. Sam asked me to write out those, and I tried to figure out a way to do it on a fretboard like this thing over here. These shapes here. It's a little glitchy looking. I had to do them individually. So I hope I got them right, but so yeah, I posted those in the Discord. I don't have them on this computer, so if I go to Discord, I suppose I could download them. I'm getting texts. Alex caught a 200-pound marlin. Oh, it was. Oh, that's great. No, a 280-pound marlin. That's crazy. They let it go, though. He's in Cabo right now. 280 pounds. Holy cow. Yeah, Richard, that's cool. I think the problem was there's overlap. So there are notes. If you just upload it all up in one diagram, it just looks like C scales. I mean, it just looks like every note in the key of C on the fretboard. If you color code it, that's fine, but the problem is you'll have overlap. So then you need two dots that are overlap. It just wasn't going to make sense. So doing it individually made it more sense. So in other words, this shape has two notes here that are also in this shape. So if I were to go, I was going to go like red, black, red, black, red, black, or red, green, red, green, red, green, but then I had weird overlaps. So, I mean, I guess you wouldn't have a problem if these were red and then these were all green and then these were red. I could have, yeah, it might have popped, it might have been obvious what the shapes were, but I could kind of see where it would be hard to individualistically, if that's a word, yeah, individualistically make them individual, so that you can see them individually. So, hey, Bruce, thanks for your text this morning. No worries. You never, and you're under no obligation. I appreciate you doing that. You're under no obligation to let me know if there's a question on Discord. I should probably check it at least once a week. I'm not really good at my. I'm hardly doing any social media stuff anymore. It's just like super low priority. But you know, I rarely post to Twitter. You know, sometimes if I have a new video up, I'll post it there, but I get literally 5 views or something. It's just not. It's not very dominant. My Instagram I turned to private. If I already friended you on Instagram, um, then then you're good. Um, if you want to follow me on Instagram and you're a part of this group, then maybe send me a note through Instagram, and I'll see that, and then I can approve you. But I had someone that was harassing me, and I got rid of them, and then I locked my account just in case they tried to follow me with another account or something like that. So they were just being a douche. It wasn't anything like nefarious or anything I had to worry about, but they're just like, dude, seriously, live your own life. Don't tell me how to live mine. So, Holly's here. Hi, Holly. Good to see you. I hope everything's well with you up north. Bruce, I hope everything's well with you out east. Bob, you're in Ohio, I believe. Is that right? Dang it. I get everybody mixed up. Like, who's the Ohio State fan and who's the Michigan fan? I was wearing my USC shirt on Friday, and in a parking lot somewhere, somebody said, "Fight on, Michigan State." And I'm like, oh, is USC playing Michigan State? I don't know. It is a great music school. Would I go there? I couldn't afford it. Would I recommend going there? I did a video on that. On my playlist, the business of making music, I talked about going to school or not going to school, and you know, it just depends. I can make an argument for both. You know, because I do think when you're in that environment and you've got deadlines and you've got big projects to do and you're around people that are really good musicians, it can really make you work hard. But just so you know, I've never ever had anyone ask me, do I have a degree? In my business, it's not an issue. There are things I think I might have learned had I gone to school, or might be better at had I gone to school. And then there are other things. And I did go to school. I went one year. It seems glitchy. It's weird. Oh, Alex. Alex is like, he's so exhausted from his from reeling in that marlin. He's like, I've never worked so hard in my life. That's crazy. You poured at the Lions tent for the Ringo Starr show at Ironstone last night. A fun way to earn money for our animal shelter. Nice. And you see the show for free. That's awesome. I know. Well, I met Lukather. Lukather plays guitar, I think, for that show. From Toto, the guitar player from Toto. And then Warren Ham, I know quite well. Actually, his daughter I've written songs with and recorded with. So, all right. So let's get to the lesson. Let's see what we have here. How many do we have? Probably not very many. Oh, well, they're falling off now. We're down to 10. Got up to 14. So it's pretty lean this morning. That's fine. I'll just start kind of chopping away through this. So we talked about a couple things. I feel like more practical uses for sweeps, and that would be, like melodic. a gypsy jazz thing, and that's too much. Too much delay on that Pat Metheny thing. Now we got too much gain. Let's go with basic clean, see what that sounds like. All right, what's that? Nah. Let's add some volume to this. Let's turn up, that's why it's not working. Okay. All right. Now, let's see. Gotta find guitar rig 6. It's such a drag. All right, that'll do it. Okay, so, and again, there's a difference between a rake and a sweep. A rake is muted strings, okay, where I'm, that's what's happening in slow motion. And if it were really in slow motion, it'd be like, and usually what you have to do is when you're doing a rake, you have to have your finger on the note ready to go, and you mute with other strings or with other fingers. So if you're going to play this G note, for example, right here at the 8th fret of the 2nd string, you might mute with your 1st and 2nd finger. Having 2 fingers down for a rake is probably the best. With 2 fingers down, you will not get any harmonics or anything. And that's something that's used all the time in blues. I mean, all the blues greats would do rakes. To me, it's kind of like this ramp up or anticipation thing that happens in a split second. So it's like you're adding energy and excitement with a very, very, ultimately a simple tool. Now, you don't want to overuse it. It's like, you just don't want to do that, any of these tools, any of these tricks, you want to probably use them fairly sparingly, because then if you use them too much, they lose all of their effect, okay? So that's a rake. A sweep is usually just you're playing a triads usually, okay? Major or minor, and you're hearing all of those notes. I actually just did a session late last night. I'm so tired, and I woke up too early. I tried to sleep in, and I got up, and then you know how you get up, and if you look at your phone, it's over, right? I was like, I'm laying there going, don't look at your phone. I want to know what time it is. I need to get just like a little clock so that I can look over and see, maybe even just like an analog clock with a face on it or something. So I can just look over and see it and go, oh, okay, I can go back to sleep. And maybe not even have the phone in I don't have any emergencies for the most part. Especially if Beth's lying next to me, I'm not, there's not any emergencies. But yeah, I was doing actually, was it? What was it? I have it right here. I can't play the whole thing, but. Oh, that's right. It was, and initially, I'm working from home. Initially, I kind of did, I kind of played those 3 notes a little too slow, and he wanted more of a sweep kind of effect. So I had to go 1, 2, 1, 2. And he wanted it very muted. So. And I kind of had to do each bar individually after I got through the first few bars. The first few bars were the same thing over and over again, and then it starts changing harmonically. And I had to kind of punch those in one at a time. I'm so glad I wasn't like in a studio doing this and you know, making them wait while I got it down, because each voicing was kind of a bit of a you know, difficult. I had to figure them all out, the best way to play them. So, Bruce, what did Bruce say? Oh. Oh, hey. Wonderful night, melody, play it, sir. Wonderful tonight, melody, play it, sir. Oh, I don't know. Wonderful tonight, you mean the Eric Clapton song? Yeah, generally I don't do covers on my channel because I want to be able to monetize. Not that I make much money on these videos, but I don't want to get copyright strikes, and so, or I don't want to have to say, no, that's not, you know, I wrote that song or whatever, and have to fight it, and then it's just a drag. Every time I upload a jam track, and I actually become friends with Quist. He played at church again this weekend. And now I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do any more jam tracks because I don't want to take away from him. You know, he actually kind of was the originator, not the originator, but had been doing jam tracks for like 14 years. And he would always do them, I think, where he would play the first bar, you would see his hands, and he would be, you know, he'd be playing over it, and then it would just go to 5 minutes of jam track. So you could see it, and then he would sell he sells the tabs and stuff. And he makes money doing it. And he was making really good money there for a while. And then YouTube started changing their algorithms and how they pay. And the drag about jam tracks is you really can't put an ad in the middle of them. I don't anyway. I put an ad at the beginning and an ad at the end, but no one gets to the end of a jam track. It just doesn't happen. I do. I always get to the end of jam tracks. But anyway, whenever I do a jam track, I almost always have to wait 30 days to be able to list it. So I'll upload a jam track. It'll say, oh, it's a copyright issue. I'm like, really? Okay, I have to type in, okay, I literally wrote this today. I recorded all the parts myself. This is not copyrighted material. I own this 100%. And then whoever the bot that claims ownership, you know, isn't going to fight over it because they have to bring lawyers in or whatever. And then but it takes 30 days, you know, 30 days of them not replying to it or disputing my claim. And then I can finally monetize. So what I'll do is I'll upload a jam track, and then I won't make it public for 30 days until it can get past the, you know, the whole copyright BS. It's really annoying. That's another reason why I haven't done many more jam tracks. I don't know if Quist has to deal with that. I think we talked about that at lunch, but I can't remember. I think that's part of the reason why he solos at the front, and that he says that really does generally take care of it. So, and that makes sense. But anyway, so the sweeping thing, yeah, like this, I'm really just. In fact, I'm muting over here too. I'm muting a C minor triad. Oh, see, Alex has did he send a video? Oh my gosh, he sent a video. I better turn down the sound. Hold on a second. Of him catching Marlin. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right. So, yeah, sweeps to me oftentimes, you know, sound kind of show-offy. Probably why they do them, but... All right, so the reason I have the, basically what is the caged method grid up there is because basically when you're sweeping these things, you're kind of using basic chords like this A. Play this A bar chord here, major bar chord. Now, the idea is to try to play every note of the triad. So you got 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. And so when you play this chord, you've got 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. Okay? So you're missing a 3. And the 3 is here or here. But let's see. Now, and it's hard, like if I do this, well, you know, if I worked on it, maybe I could do it, but it's, yeah, it just doesn't feel natural. So what I'm kind of doing here is I'm visualizing, or I'm playing this note, okay, then I'm playing this third up here, this C sharp, and then I'm playing the triad, the E shape right there. In fact, I can do this in C, so we can be on the right fret. But when I play that triad, I'm not playing it like this. I'm playing it with my second finger laid down and then first finger here. Because keep in mind, when you're doing these sweeps, you're only on these notes for a split second. So that's where it, I mean, if I slow that down, it might not be very clean. And what I'm doing is I'm hammering on that first note. So I'm really, and then down, 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 up. That's Woody Woodpecker, right? So Woody Woodpecker's a sweep, I guess. So that definitely is not easy. I mean, this, and so what I'm doing is I'm getting basically to this note here, and then I had well, and I don't think I had ever done a sweep before. I met this guy years ago, before I even knew Beth, I think. I don't know whatever happened to him. He was about my age. He might have been a little younger than me, but he was at a friend's house, and he had his guitars, and he was from Seattle, and the kid could sweep, and I'm like, whoa, that's kind of cool. And he would do this. This is what, I'm not going to try to do it at speed, but he'd be like, I think he would do that. So, and he could do it at speed, right? Like, and it's just like, just not something I ever really want to work on, because nobody's ever going to ask me to do it. It's kind of a need to know thing. I don't need to know it. This I might do where I, you know, and so what I'm doing there is I'm doing that C major sweep, and then the next two notes in the triad are C and E. Well, I can't, because I got my pinky on there, I can't get over to this C note. Sorry. So I'm going to get it here. So I'm actually skipping a string. So this is 6th string, 6th string, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 3rd, 1st, 1st. I even just like the sound of that. Check this out. So play this 9th fret, and on acoustic you should be fine. 9, 12 on the 3rd string, and then 8, 12 on the 1st string. It's the same as doing that. Okay. What is horizontal and vertical key? Well, I would consider this to be, I don't know, is this vertical? I think this would be more vertical. So if I were to play a vertical C scale, I would do something like this. If I were to do it horizontal, I might be thinking horizontally on the neck, but you could think of that as vertically. I'm not sure if that's at all what you're talking about, but both are good. To be able to visualize scales this way and this way. I do a lot of diagonal stuff, so you have just the same shape over and over again. But with this thing, I'm literally playing C, E, G, C, E, G. So it's on piano, super easy. Stuff that's really easy on piano is often very difficult on guitar, and so the other thing that's happening here is I'm hammering on this and I'm hammering on this. And so when you get that note, so that's a hard hammer on. That's a really hard hammer on. But I'm doing a downstroke there and I'm resting on the next string. Now again, of course, if I were doing like a metal thing, where is Lukather? Is Lukather in here? Where's Lukather? I don't see. Boop, 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 boop. What's this? No. What's this? No. Wheel? Thought I had Luke in here somewhere. Let me just grab some random lead sound. Rock lead. Epic. Sure. It's gonna be loud. And one thing, you don't have to necessarily stick to triads. Like for example, I could, instead of going up to that G note there, I could go to the F. And so I'm doing a down, hammer on, down, 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 hammer on, pull off, up, 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 pull off. It's technically what's happening. So it's down, hammer on, down, 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 hammer on, pull off, up, 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 pull off. It's hard to do slow. It's kind of one of those things I don't remember. I don't want to say I don't remember not being able to do it, but I don't remember working on it. So I'm not sure the path of least resistance. I'm not sure the path I took getting there. But it was probably one of those things where I just got my hands in the right position and we could use some delay. A little hissy. Let's get rid of the hiss. All right. And the twin delay, what's this? Want to add, make it more eddy. That's annoying. All right. So, yeah, Bruce, I kind of tried to answer that because I'm not exactly sure what he was asking there, but I'm assuming he was asking, are there scales that go this way and scales that go this way, and definitely when I want to be able to have as much facility up and down the fretboard as possible. So if I'm in the key of C and I want to sit here and, I want to maybe try to create something like that. It's helpful to, if I want to be in one position and then go to another position, being able to get there without just going. Maybe to have knowledge of different strings and the scale on the different strings. Being able to go up and down different strings and playing scales, I would call that vertically. I don't know. And this is horizontal. No, this is horizontal and this is vertical. I don't know. Okay, if you picture the guitar neck this way, then you're thinking this is vertical and this is horizontal. So I'll leave that up to you to determine which is which. I don't really have an opinion. I just do it. So, hey, Jan, what's going on? Yeah, you got to see, Jan, and that was really cool seeing pictures of Jan and Hoozy Booze together. You're like, Hoozy Booze? What's that? What's a Hoozy Booze? Is he here? Dennis here? No, I don't see Dennis. So Dennis and Jan met. Was that the first time you guys met? Hoozy Booze is, it's definitely an Indiana saying. My mom would say it. And maybe it's a Michigan thing. She grew up in Michigan and in Washington, D.C. So maybe, maybe, I don't know. Hoozy Booze. It's you can't think of their name, so you say Hoozy Booze. I'm not even, how would you spell Hoozy Booze? Oh, that was the first time you met. Okay, that's cool. That's fun. I mean, let's see. There are a couple people on here I've met. Bruce came to my house. We met. So, funny thing is, who asked for this? It was Sam, and he's not here. Sam asked for this. So, probably the best way to practice is, like I said, I don't remember not being able to do this, or at least I don't remember the process of getting to be able to do it. And you can do it with different shapes. That one works pretty good. This one almost is better because I can get from root to root. I'm going root 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. And if I need to do some kind of major like sweep like that and to get to that landing note, that's probably the one I would use. I'd probably go. And I like the fact that when I do that one, I can change the last note easily. So let me show you that one, and then maybe we'll come back to the E form. So this is an A form. So this is a sweep that's based on the A chord. So when you play the A bar chord, everybody hates the B flat and the B. But I'm not really playing it at all like that. I'm just playing this, and then I'm laying down my second finger. So I'm hammering on from the 3rd to the 7th fret on the 5th string. Hey, AJ, what's going on? That sounds very Bach for some reason. It's like. What is that? Okay, everybody take a sip. I'm going to change guitars. Let's see. So a drinking game. If I change guitars, we take a sip. Ooh. That was weird. string or the tune? I hate having the fan on. It's like fluttering when I play a note. It sounds like that too. So was it with? So it's kind of like that, right? No, it's... Hopefully I won't get a copyright strike for that. There are sweep-like things in classical guitar music. I was just thinking about today that I can't find this book. I think it's 20 Studies by Carcassi. I have it somewhere. I've got so many books, and I just need to go through and organize a little better some of my shelves. But I was looking for it the other day, and I think there's a piece that's something like that, which would be kind of the equivalent. It's on a piano, again, that's just blah, 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 you know. Once you learn a triad on piano, you just replicate it up the keyboard, you know, and you just keep going. Oops, sorry. It's pretty darn easy. That on guitar is insanely hard. Especially if it all rings out. Oh, can you make all those notes ring out? I'm like, I've got 6 strings. I can't do it. Hammer-ons have been around on classical guitar forever, so that's not something Eddie Van Halen invented. And a lot of times in classical guitar pieces, they will use open strings. Country players do this all the time. Use open strings to change position. So I'm playing this A, I'm playing an A chord basically, okay? I'm playing the open A, hammering on the C sharp, so I got the 3rd there. Then I'm laying down and playing these 3 notes here, the A triad, so on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. So I have A, C sharp, E, A, C sharp. Then I take my hand off and play the open E string, and that's when I have my moment where I can go up here and finish off with another, if I want to go all the way up to A. But I mean, I could, if I really could do it there. But I think the piece that I'm thinking of is written. The real hard part is the right hand. And you're not sweep picking, obviously. With classical, you're actually using your fingers. So they don't even drag their fingers. You wouldn't even go like what I just did. You wouldn't do that. Generally, what you do with a classical piece, guitar piece, is you go through and try to figure out what's the most efficient fingering for both hands. What fingering is going to allow you to go the fastest? Okay, efficiency picking essentially is what's happening. But you're going with the left and right hand. That's where the Segovia scales kind of come into play. He went through all, 24 scales, 12 major and 12 melodic minor scales, and he kind of figured out the best way to play them for speed. And so that's what everybody, all classical guitarists have to learn those and study those and memorize them and play them 1,000 different ways. And I'm way too lazy to be a classical guitarist. See, so but it's that open string that allows you to move. And And you're not in every key. You're not going to have an open string. If I were in B flat, you know, and I did, you probably have to do something where you have to throw your second finger on that F and then slide up to the B flat. I don't know. Fortunately, he didn't write it in the key of B flat. He wrote it in the key of A. And if he wrote it in the key of B flat, he probably everybody would have capoed. It's funny though, because like I just played Hazy, right? And I'm probably going to get a copyright strike for that. For a piece that was literally written, let's see, Bach died in 1725, is that right? Or was it 1685 to 1750, something like that? It's basically, when he died is the end of the Baroque era. How would you like that? You die and it ends an era. That's crazy. Guten Abend. Oh, Dennis is here. All right, Dennis. Lurking. That's all right. Oh, yeah, eat dinner, man. Gee, what are you having for dinner? I'm not hungry, though. So, all right, so take a sip. I'm going back to the electric. Okay, so go to the C chord. So what we're going to do is... also, another thing that's happening kind of is I'm kind of muting. I'm kind of doing that rake thing, but instead I'm doing it with my right hand. So I'm kind of muting the strings a little bit. If I didn't, it would be pretty noisy. And that was something I learned from Al Di Meola. Like, he would mute a lot, and when he muted it just sounded faster for some reason. I think he probably got that from kind of some flamenco or Spanish kind of influence. You know, he would do some harmonic minor kind of scale, and then, but if he, when he muted it with his right hand, palm mute, it would just sound. Same speed, but it just sounds faster when you mute it. So that may be part of the reason a lot of players will mute this, but also I think part of it is just because you're going across all the strings. It's gonna get noisy if you're not muting things. Like there's a lot of that going on, a lot of open strings ringing out. Especially when I go to that note, you got the potential for all the strings to be ringing out at that moment. Now, so what am I doing? Okay, so I'm plucking down and playing the C note and hammering on the 7th fret. Okay, and you can lay your 2nd finger down. Some people lay their 3rd finger down, whichever is more comfortable for you. I feel more comfortable reaching with my 1st finger than reaching with my pinky. So, and then once I hit that note, again, I'm not plucking that string, and then I'm just all down. So notice what I'm doing here. I'm playing 5th fret on the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and then going to the first fret. I'm sorry, 1st string, 3rd fret. Get that G note. That's not easy, and it's kind of the dirty secret about sweeping is that it's going so fast you can hide your sloppiness if it's not perfect. Probably what's happening. There's a lot of implied pitches. You think you're hearing notes you're not really hearing a lot of times. I'm probably, to get to that G note there, that 1st string, I'm probably taking this finger off pretty quick. So if I were to slow it down, it may sound something like this. Right? I might not even be hitting that E note. Now, guys that are really good at it, oh, Holly, you disappeared. I can't believe it. Hey, Catherine's in the house. Hey, Bob, what's going on? Message retracted. What did you say, Holly? You moderated yourself. So again, perfection is not necessary. You know, it's almost like touchstones. You want to make sure you hear those. You know, that all of that could almost be a rake more than a pitch. I mean, I'm hitting that note, the C and the E, and I'm almost just doing a rake up to the G sharp G is almost what's happening. And I guarantee I learned to do rakes before I learned to do sweeps. So rakes. I learned to do rakes, and essentially that's all a sweep pick is a pitched rake. So the same mechanics that are going into doing a rake is pretty much, for me, the same. It's just a little bit more controlled. Okay. Oh, you played it too? Did you do a rake in it? You did a solo on Fast Car. Oh, that's awesome. Well, we could talk. You know, we could talk about that too. We could pick a song out and like, how do you? We've talked about that before, though. Soloing. How do you create a solo? In my head, I've got a session tomorrow night that I'm a little nervous about. You can be praying for me because it's like, oh, bring your jazz box and an amp, and you know, and I'm like, okay. I'm not like a great jazz player. Now, I've worked for this guy for years. I think he knows my capabilities. I've done live sessions with him a couple times. I've done some live events for him, but you know, I can play jazz rhythm all day long, but playing like soloing and having something to say, that's not easy. And I, you know, maybe feel like I could have done it 30 years ago or 35 years ago, but when I was really into jazz and I was listening to it a lot and playing it a lot, but I quickly realized early in my career that nobody pays you to play jazz, so I just stopped working on it and worked on things that I was getting paid to do, which is kind of the, you know, or I shouldn't say nobody pays you to play jazz. Nobody was paying me to play jazz. So I'm using the A form C chord here, and it's the blue little triad there in the blue. Is kind of what I'm seeing. Okay. Now, actually what I'm doing, okay, so what I am doing on this is I'm down, hammer on, down, 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 up. I'm actually not hammering on. So I could do it either way. Okay, sorry, I'm going to slow it down, but I could do it either way where I'm hammering and I'm pulling off that, okay? So I'm hammering it on and pull off. That's really hard though, right? That's a big stretch. Might be easier to do in F, but, so it's exact same thing. I'm just going, it's this F chord, so it's the A form. Here's B, C, D, E, F, and I'm getting that triad with my second finger. But if it's more comfortable to use your third finger, that's fine. You want to reach with the pinky. But what I'm doing there is so what's happening on the ascending part of that is I'm doing down, hammer on, down, 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 down. Okay? And then if I play this note up, then what's happening is I'm going up, pull off, up, 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 pull off. Or I can start with the down again. And that, now, minor chords are much more, it's not, it's not really, I can't do it. That I could do maybe the E form minor, but the A form minor is tough. If I'm going to do minor, I'm probably going to do a C shape minor. I think we talked about that. For some reason, I can do it down better. I can't do it up. Ah. It's getting to there. That's the hard part. Anyway, struggles. They're real. All right. I'm gonna take a little break here. Everybody doing well? How many do we have now? Let me click on this and see. 19. So we've peaked at 21. That's pretty low. Something going on. Everybody busy doing stuff. Is the weather nice all over the world? So Catherine, that you were so clammy. Yeah. Okay, so that's why I use elixir strings. Oh, here it is. I can't point at it. Elixir strings. Well, that's hard to do. Elixir strings. I have to imagine it floating right here, because my hands sweat a lot when I'm nervous, and my mouth gets dry and my hands get wet, right? And so I would just corrode the crud out of strings, and they would just be worthless. Back in the day, if I had gigs, I would almost have to change strings every night. If I was did 3 nights in a row or something like that, and I had basically one guitar that I was playing, I'd have to change strings probably, every night before the show. And so that took away from some of the income. If I was making $65 and it cost me $5 for a set of strings, now I'm only making $60. And if it cost me $5 to drive there, then it's called the cost of doing business. Both of those things are write-offs. So yeah, Sam isn't here to enjoy the sweet picking thing. It's like I should. But yeah, so we plugged into the sound system, which was great for the audience. Hard to hear yourself on stage. Yeah, so that's kind of one of the things. I did a video a while back. I can't remember. I see if I can find it. I think if I search for gig, I can show it to you. And this might help you, Catherine. Okay, because I love that you did that. And I mean, you will not get better faster than if you're the fastest way to get better is to do gigs and get in front of people. And fear is the world's greatest motivator. I've been working on my jazz chops all week, and all it does is reinforce the fact that, yeah, I'm not a great jazz player, but I will be practicing jazz. Oh, that's why the amp is set up back there. If you see that's my old church rig right there. I'm taking that to the session. Not that I'm going to use any effects or anything. It's probably just going to be clean. And I'm probably going to bring my Fender. I'll probably bring 2 amps just so I have kind of an A-B thing. But let's see. Gig. My worst gig. Nail your next gig. Okay, I have 3 tips. Yeah, and this video is hugely unpopular. Let's see how many views it has. So let me mute this real quick because it's going to play an ad, which I'll let it play. 1,000 views from 6 years ago. This is when we first bought the house. It's crazy. Okay, that's enough. So what were my tips? Oh, is it really only 3 tips? Yeah, 3 tips. Okay. Now, and the one I'm thinking of right now wasn't even part of that. But I'm gonna in this. It's kind of the hardest one. If it's your band and you're the artist, that's a different thing. All right. So one of the things, like, this is especially true with singing. I whenever I work with singers in the studio, my number one thing is to make sure that they are comfortable with all the volumes. And if they're a first-time singer, I'm going to let them know, look, if they're first time singing in the studio, I'm going to say, look, there's going to be a mix where you're going to feel the most comfortable. And a lot of people tend to turn themselves up too loud in the mix. And then they get self-conscious and they don't sing. Now, it depends. Like, some singers are really quiet singers. A lot of really fluid singers like Mariah Carey, ultimately, I think when they're on the microphone, I mean, they're just eating that microphone and they're singing pretty quiet. I've got Warren Ham's daughter, the guy that plays, I think he sings and plays percussion and all the sax and stuff like that with Ringo Starr. His daughter, I would record her all the time back in the day. And I mean, I think the first recording I did with her, she was like 13. She's like 35 now. She has a couple kids and they moved to Nashville. But the first, I think she sometimes is here. She's the one that got me started on YouTube, by the way. But Rachel Talbot now, Rachel, she sang so quiet. I mean, she could do anything with her voice. Like, she could do licks like speed stuff and her, just amazing agility. And part of that is because she sang so quiet. The harder you sing, I think the more difficult it is to have that fluidity. It's a rare. That's why I'm always impressed by flamenco players, because they play really hard, but they also play fast. One of the things I was taught, if you want to play fast, play really light. And so flamenco players do the opposite. I'm like, how is that even possible? It defies the laws of physics. Anyway, that's not here or there. My point is that when you're singing you're got headphones on and you're a booth and you're singing your song or whatever, you want to get a good balance where you can hear yourself. You want to have enough reverb, but not too much reverb. You definitely don't want to have pitch correct on. I've actually worked with singers that have pitch correct on, but usually they're just demo singers. Like, they're just singing the song. They're trying to get a melody down, and they're using pitch correct to help them find the pitches. It's crazy, but you can totally do that. If you go, whoa, it just goes, just every pitch is nailed. And so, but the key is to kind of get that balance that's just perfect so you can hear yourself enough, but not too much. And some people love to hear, some of the best players hear themselves very loud. Some of the best players have themselves really pulled back in their mix. It just depends. I'm often going back and forth between playing single notes and playing chords. So it's hard for me, like at church, when I got my mix, I do have myself probably a little too loud. And I have to, every now and then, I kind of maybe rush or slow down, get off of the click because I'm playing louder than the click. And maybe I'm hearing myself more than I'm hearing the drums. And that could be problematic. But yeah. Oh yeah. Did they have a horn section, or was it just? Let me see if I can find something here. 10, 2. Let me see if I can find that show from last night. Recently uploaded. Let's see. That's his site. Milwaukee 7 days ago. Okay, let me see. I got to turn the sound off. Where's Warren? Okay, I think Warren's over here on percussion, but I can't see him because the speaker's blocking him. I don't see any other horn player. Oh, wait. No. I see Lukather. And then the Who Can It Be guy, the Men at Work guys in the band. Oh, and the drummer, Ringo's there. And then, Greg Bissonette, I know very well, actually. The drummer for Ringo, I know very well. Love Greg. Greg's one of the sweetest guys. And his brother, Matt, is amazing. the funniest guy. We had the best time doing. We did a worship thing one weekend, like a worship concert or something. And me and Matt and Greg and I forget, it was maybe Steve Gumas on keys. It was really, really fun. Oh, yeah. You guys see me with my guitars all the time, so you don't need me. Post a pic. I think I have a recent pic of me at church that somebody took. Let me see if I can grab that. I want to go to the desktop here. Oh, weird. Huh. I don't see it. That's weird. Oh well. Did I send it to anybody else? Oh, Brad just sent me a video of Alex. Is that the same one Alex sent? Oh no, this is a longer one. So crazy. Oops. Crazy Z. I'm going to say so crazy that you have cell service out there. All right, so Alex catching a 280-pound marlin. That's crazy. He'll never, ever forget that. I mean, he will never forget that. Yeah, so I don't have a picture with me with a guitar. You guys just do a screen grab here in a second. All right, so yeah, so Sam, when you watch this later, let's see, I got to turn the sound back up. All right. Yeah, so on that, what I'm doing, I'm hammering on, down, hammer on, down, 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 up, pull up. And just so you know, you can practice this, but I'm using what's called a rest stroke with the pick. I'm not plucking and like having the pick flow. I'm actually plucking, and if you look at, I'll turn the sound off here. You can see the pick is hitting that F note and then resting on the next string, and then you hammer on. Okay? That's the first thing you want to practice, because what again, it's, I always say, a lot of times guitar stuff is like the Boy Scouts. Their motto is be prepared. You're preparing for the next note. Classical guitar does this all the time. It's like, man, you're like, why is this fingering so hard? Well, hold on, wait till you practice it for a week and you'll realize, oh, it makes complete sense. You know, everything is mapped out to make everything more efficient. So and a lot of this stuff, when you're, you know, I'm kind of a caveman guitar player in a lot of ways. I mean, I'm almost all self-taught. I mean, I play a lot of genres-ish, and it's all pretty much without any instruction. So shortcuts happen, and figuring out stuff on your own. So, but this is definitely one way, you know, this is definitely the way they do it with the sweep picking thing. You've got that, you're resting on that next note, and then you're just rolling. And if you can get that far, and then you go there and you end on another down. So you can kind of break this up into little bite-sized chunks. You can do this, work on that, and remember to rest stroke. Don't do this. Oh yeah, I can do that. And you're not practicing the landing, the preparation for the next note. Okay. Well, there's actually classical guitar is just solos. That's all it is. Yeah, so, oh, sorry, get back to Catherine. I keep getting sidetracked. Yeah, and it's very difficult when you're sitting in on one song to really make any demands. But that was a monitoring issue. So you're in the house, and so what you're hearing is your guitar is coming out of the speakers that are in front of you, but facing away from you. They're hitting the back wall and coming back this way. And not just your guitar, everybody you're playing with is doing the same thing. So if there's no floor wedge, a lot of times if we didn't have floor wedges, like when I would lead worship outdoors or something, and they didn't want to bring monitors or whatever, I would have the speakers you can't necessarily put them behind you because your mic's going to feedback. But you can kind of put them on the side and then aim them a little bit in so that they're crisscrossing in front of you. And then it's a little bit easier to hear your voice and guitar. I could almost always feel the pitch on my body on the acoustic. But that was, Beth and I would lead worship sometimes for the beach baptisms that our church would do. And so they would bring a sound system out there, and I'd bring my guitar, and the two of us would just lead worship. I think I brought charts. I never had songs memorized. I couldn't trust myself to not forget lyrics. So that was the main reason I had. But anyway, so yeah, it's a little tough if you're sitting in for one song to really make a lot of demands on doing that. But my video, I talk about, two of the things I talk about is practice standing up if you're going to be performing. If you're going to be performing sitting down, then sit down. Try to create as much as you can the gig scenario in your home. All right? If you're going to be plugged in through a PA system, if you have something on an amp or something that you could plug into, so you can kind of get used to your acoustic or your electric being plugged in. Well, electric, obviously, you'd have to be plugged in. But if you were playing acoustic and they plugged you in, it's like, whoa, all of a sudden I'm loud. I'm not used to this. I'm in my bedroom with my guitar, and it's very disconcerting, kind of scary. And so kind of the goal is to kind of create as much as you can that gig scenario in your home. And that's the other thing I talk about in this video. I talk about playing loud. Again, set the volume up to pretty much where you think you're going to have to be. And because what happens is, right now I'm pretty quiet. If I were to turn this up, it's just fuzz for you guys. You're not hearing anything. But the guitar reacts very differently. I mean, the electric guitar in particular, well, acoustic is even worse. The guitar reacts very differently at different volumes. And all of a sudden, you're playing amazing at home, and you sound so sloppy and all strings are ringing out, and you didn't realize, when I'm playing really quiet, nothing's happening here. But if my amp was really loud, these strings would all be ringing out without me doing anything. Like I'd be getting feedback. And so when you don't practice loud, and you may have to wear earplugs, and you may have to shut all your windows and doors and put curtains up and build a room inside a room so you don't destroy your relationship with your families or whatever. But when you practice loud, there's a lot of different. When you're playing loud, there's a lot of different reactions going. A lot of different things are happening, and when you practice loud, you learn how to control all that. But if you don't, and that's the thing about Eddie Van Halen that's always amazed me so much, was how he was able to control and sound so tight and not have a lot of string ringing out. It's just crazy to me. So again, with the sweep thing, I'm starting with a down, and then so if you just start with that down with a rest and hammer on, do that, make that the first thing to do. And then maybe try to get that sweep with that triad right there. And then once you have that done, then maybe just work on the sweep going to the top string. Wow, too, but big tune here. I need this. Okay. Oh. Happy autumn. Oh, is it? It is. Oh, crazy. Didn't even think about it. Is this that day you can stand an egg on the edge? Is that the autumnal equinox? Well, also true. Yeah. Another good way to practice to play clean, but that gain will add a lot of noise, add a lot of feedback potential, things like that. So you have to have the gain to practice. But as far as getting things actually down, yeah, it's almost kind of cheating to play. Where's my clean sound? Basically right here. To have gain on all the time, especially quiet. So here. So, then once you have maybe this, you can practice getting to that F note there, and then pluck that up with a rest stroke. So down, 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 up. And now you're headed in the right direction to do your reverse sweep. Okay, watch this hand over here. Okay, I'll try to go slow. It's like I'm leaning, and I'm leaning this way, and I'm leaning that way. That's basically what's happening there. And again, like I said, now if you want it for extra credit, you could add this A note up here. That would be the next note. I wouldn't do it. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get that. That's not one of the, but that's a guy I told you about, like from Seattle, that I met and was like, wow, I can't do that. You know, it was like, oh man, you know, this guy's better than me. It's like, no, he just had a thing he could do that you couldn't do. It's not necessarily better or worse. Okay, the other thing. I could do a major seventh if I just, instead of going to the F, which is a big stretch for a lot of you. I'm sure it's not even possible. Going to the E. Oh, there's Sam. Okay, Sam, this was all for you, this whole video, so you better go back and watch this whole thing. Or was you can already do sweep picking and you were just like, oh, I think everybody would like to learn sweep picking. Did Michigan win this week? I don't know. I don't keep track. I didn't even watch any NFL games this weekend. Dang, this pick is worn out. Need to make sure I take some new picks to that session. Oh, they edge. Oh, that's right. I did see that. That's right. I did see that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think at least to start with, this A-form sweep is probably the most common. I don't want to say the starting place because that's a hard place to start. But again, what's happening is it's down, and I'm just... So I'm going down, down, up, down, down, up, 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 down. So, oops. Okay. So that's what's happening in the right hand, but at a lot faster than that. If you're looking for something interesting, fun to watch, if you like reality shows, if you like cooking shows, on Netflix is Next Gen Chef. And my son, one of my sons is married. All of my kids are married, but my Jack, our second oldest, is married, and his father-in-law was president of the Culinary Institute for 20 years. Just retired last year. We got a full tour of it last year. So it's fun to see this on the show. So what they do is they got these kids come in and they're doing a contest. I think the first prize is like $500,000. And so all I've watched so far is the first episode, and they got rid of a lot of people at the end of the first episode. I think they said they had 24, so I guess they had 8 on a team. 3 teams, 8 on a team, and they got rid of half of them. So they had to create a whole meal. So each of them had individual things that they had to do for like an 8-course meal or something like that. I thought they said 7-course. So maybe it was 7 different, so it was 8, and one of them was the head chef, kind of making sure everybody was doing their job, and then everybody else had to kind of volunteer for different things, dessert and salad or whatever, And it was interesting. It was interesting. I mean, when we went there, we had the most amazing meal, and there's a story behind everything, and Dr. Tim had just great stories, and we had a lot of fun. We had a great time with them. We're staying in the president's house, right? We stayed there, right? I can't even remember which room. Well, they own an apartment in New York. We stayed there. I'm trying to remember where we stayed in the house. What room? I can visualize the house. I can see pretty much every room. I don't remember sleeping there. That's so weird. I know we did. I don't remember what room. That's so funny. Oh, no, I remember now. Yeah, it was upstairs. Okay, yeah. Actually, we slept in their son's room. That was funny. Yeah, so. Okay, sorry. I'm like, oh, man. That was weird. It just happened last year. Anyway, that show is kind of fun. So if you're into cooking shows, it's pretty crazy. If you're into like gourmet food, multi-course food, it's definitely that kind of thing. And so the courses tend to be really small. A lot you just get a little bit. Oh, look, there's a seared ahi, with a peppercorn on it. And so. Yes, thank you, Dennis. I agree. Oh, you guys talking about your concert? Oh, Texas Tornadoes pick on my new X. Nice. I'm still trying to figure out what's the best pick for doing the jazz stuff. I still like the gypsy thing. Oh, nice. Your sister-in-law used to date. Well, then, is that your wife's sister? Yeah. Yeah, we were right by Hyde Park. That's right. Yeah. We were in Hyde Park, actually. Yeah, that's right. We walked all over the place there. We got rained on. I was so drenched. Nothing's worse than go for a walk and it pours on you and you have wet jeans. It's just like, oh, it's the worst. We ate at the Culinary Institute. They cooked dinner for us a couple times, or dinner. We brought bagels from Manhattan. So we ate at a good Italian restaurant that's no longer there. When we, I think it was called Eight and a Half, in Manhattan, and it was a friend of Dr. Tim's who owned it, and he had great stories and stuff. And he met with us in the afternoon, and then we went back that night, and we were almost the only people in the whole restaurant. It was kind of sad, but it was very good Italian food. And if you're going to have, if you're going to have Italian food, New York's a good place to have it. So, yeah, it was a beautiful area. We loved their apartment. Was right by, it was 4 blocks from Central Park. We walked all over Central Park and probably only saw 2% of it. Felt like we walked a lot. We went over to the the John Lennon Imagine Memorial, and took some pictures over there at where John got shot. Yeah, it was. I don't know if I got a picture of myself at the memorial. Let's see if I can find it. I know I have those pictures here. Hold on a second. Boom, boom. A lot of pictures. Took a lot of pictures. It's crazy. I mean, just being in, over there by. Really? It's gonna turn that way? Why did it rotate? The picture's not taken that way. Weird. Well, let me duplicate it. Let me change the aspect ratio of it. Or change the, edit. No, I have to do it here. Come on, open. All right, tools. Adjust size. Okay, I'll make it a lot smaller. Let me just go like 800. All right. Now let's see if it does it. I don't know. It may not work still. Let's see. Oh, it did. There we go. But I mean, it's just crazy seeing the Billionaire Row, those tall buildings, so skinny. I'm like, you would never build a building like that in LA. They would just like fall over in an earthquake. They have counterweights in them, and they have like floors that are just air gaps, wind can go through. Yeah, no, not gonna happen. Just not gonna happen. Let's see. I'm gonna have to change it. But you go to the friend or the fountain that's in a lot of things. Oh, here. Okay. Let's see what this looks like. Nope, it did the same thing. It flipped it over, trying to fit it in. Maybe I can adjust the size. Cancel. No, I'll just get rid of it here. Delete. Tools, adjust size. Where are you? There. Nope. Tools. There we go. Adjust size. Let's do 800 again. Okay, save. Now it should be. So there I am. There's the Imagine mosaic in Central Park. It was quite warm that day. My hair is pretty much looks the same. Got the same. Those are my old glasses, or those are my new glasses? I think those are my old glasses. Yeah, so trying to be somber there. I remember that day. My mom told me that John Lennon was killed. I was practicing in my bedroom. It was a bummer. Yeah, some of these. And there's the big park where everybody lays. It's just like this. Let me make this smaller also. Okay, save. Yeah, it's just, look at those buildings. It's just, it was a beautiful day. It was humid and pretty warm. It was July 4th. We were there July 4th, July 3rd and 4th. So yeah, it was pretty amazing. Really hadn't been there in a very, very long time. This is the third time I've been to New York. New York City, that is. That was last July, not this year, last year. Okay, cancel. Okay, cancel. Delete. And then, what's this? Okay, that's just at the airport. The bread at that Italian restaurant, oh my gosh, was so good. Let's see, you want to see some food pics? Are you foodies? Let's see, at the Culinary Institute, we did go over to somebody's house. What was that? Did I take a picture of a sign? I forget where we were there. Let's see, this is... Yeah, so... here, let's see if you can see it. You can't. Can I make it smaller? Am I making it? It is getting smaller, but it's not rotating. There was the first course. Bouchon. No, it wasn't Bouchon, sorry. It was, the restaurant's called the famous French chef. So that was the first thing, and I'm trying to remember what it was. I have the menu here. I can, let me pull the menu up. That makes more sense, right? Remove. All right. Because, yeah. Boop. All right. Oh, dang it. I forgot. I got to rotate it. It's not good. Can I rotate it in this app? This is such a PC type app. It just messes me up. I think I accidentally changed the camera thing. Let's see. Can I rotate this? See, it's not. Yeah. Okay. Let me delete it. I'll rotate it. Let's see. I mean, I can just read it to you too, but yeah. It was La Soupe aux truffles noir VGE, chicken consommé, root vegetables, black truffles, foie gras, mushroom, and puff pastry. Second course was seared tuna loin, olive oil potatoes, blistered cherry tomatoes, fine herb sauce. Then the main course was Hudson Valley duck breast with roasted peaches, summer squashes, rye berries, Riesling duck juice, and every course had a different wine with it. Crazy. Is that the cat? No. It was very good. I'm not a big foodie, but it was a lot of fun. So, le grâce. Oh, what? Wait, you were in the city that night of a party at Rockefeller on December 8th, 1980 was a beautiful night until tragedy struck. What happened? I forget. December 8th, 1980. Yeah, yeah. Just very, yeah. You were actually there. You weren't far from where it went down. Crazy. Well, now we're getting people showing up. I'm talking about food, and people show. Actually, it's funny. A friend of mine said, "Oh, you need to do a food blog or food Instagram," because I'm always talking about like we lived in Pasadena for 32 years, and there's so many great restaurants in Pasadena. Now we live in the Valley, North Valley, and it's just like it's a fine dining desert. Here, let me. Sorry, I'll post a picture of the duck so you can see that. I'm getting hungry now. So let me duplicate this. Duplicate. Make it smaller. Sorry, it's just a process here. Tools, adjust size. All right, let's just go to 800. So it's small, but big enough for you guys to see. All right. So there's the duck. And then so what was that? I'll read it to you. Hudson Valley duck breast, roasted peaches. Okay, those were roasted peaches. Summer squashes. Okay, I don't see that unless that's the rye berries. Oh, maybe I've already eaten some. It looks like I ate something off the plate, or Beth took my berries or something. I don't know. Riesling duck juice, and then the wine we had was Guigal Condru Violet 2020. So, and then I don't know any. We had a we had a Greek wine with the second course. Asarika Sigalas Santorini, Greece, 2021. I wish I was more of a wine person. Then we had a 10-year-old Madeira with dessert. We had a crepe souffle. Needless to say, Beth and I went to McDonald's afterwards because we were still hungry. I'm kidding. I hope Tim isn't watching. I think Tim's actually been on. He's never commented, but I think Tim has seen me live. Dr. Tim. Let's see. Okay, let me delete that. Looks good though, right? The Italian restaurant we went to was really good too. I think I have pictures of that. With the bread, I definitely took pictures of the bread because I'm like, holy cow! And I know I bought a nice bottle of wine. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I got chicken parm, really good. Anyway, I'm making you all hungry, I'm sure. We got rigatoni. We got a lot of things. McDonald's. McRib, baby. Hey, that's why I'm going to live so long. I'm chock full of preservatives. That's why I don't look 64. Well, I think I look 64, but a lot of people don't. I saw a Ralph Macchia. Ralph Macchia? Is that the guy that played, that was in, is in it again, the Karate Kid thing? And I saw a video on Instagram of him when he was 18 and he looked 14. He's on Letterman, and Letterman said, "How old are you?" And he said 30. He looked like he was 18. Then he was on Letterman again, I guess, and they said, "How old are you?" And he said, "I'm 60," and he looked 30. It's crazy. Yeah, see, in the Sierra foothills. Yeah, and it's, I'll tell you, it's funny. Some of the best restaurants, are, these chefs that they graduate from culinary school and they work in New York for a while or something. I met Thomas Keller. He was at our table at Jack's wedding. He's very good friends with Dr. Tim. And we actually went to his restaurant, not the French Laundry, but he has another one. I think, was it Per Se? No, Per Se's in New York. I can't remember the one that we went to. It was a rustic one. We were sitting outside. They had picnic tables and everything, so it was kind of like a rustic feast. It was wonderful. and that was the rehearsal dinner. And thank God, tradition dictates that the father of the groom pays for the rehearsal dinner. But when I found out he was going to be there, and they said, "Do not worry, you're not paying for a thing." So I said, "All right." I mean, I paid for our flights, and I paid for the pastor, and I paid for the hotel rooms for us and our friends. But I didn't have to pay for much else. So I think I paid for the kids' flight so they could get there. I think I paid for Alex and Abrielle's flight. I can't remember now. But yeah, I got off easy. But Per Se, I think, is Thomas Keller's New York restaurant. French Laundry is up in Napa, which is where the wedding was. It was actually, the wedding was at the Culinary Institute in Napa. So whenever I'm with the Ryans, we have a pretty good meal. We have good meals. Well, it's funny because we went to Philippe's. They were here just a couple months ago, and he wanted to go to Philippe's. He'd never been to Philippe's. And Philippe's is the restaurant in right in kind of downtown LA, kind of in a crappy neighborhood that's been there for 100 years. And I think it's Philipes, one L, one P, I think, something like that. Philippe's. You can Philipes, Philippe's, I think. And it's kind of where the French dip was invented. So we all got French dip sandwiches, and they were great. And Beth, I'd been there before because I'd read about it somewhere, and I was like, oh, we got to go check this out. And we took the train down. And we took the Gold Line from Pasadena to the train station downtown because it's right by not downtown train station, but it's right by Union Station. And literally the train got stopped because on the way there was a guy threatening the whole train with a knife. I kid you not. Like, I had ridden on the train maybe once in my life in LA. And the second time I'm with my wife and kids, I think. And a guy gets on and starts screaming and yelling and pulls out a knife. And it's like, what? We were at the back of the train. We were pretty far from him. It was a full train. And the cops were called and he got hauled away. But it was like, so we got delayed going down there. And we came back and it was fine. But I haven't been on a train since. I'm like, yep, no. We're not those trains. I'm not going to get on a train or bus in LA. I'm just not going to do it. But yeah, that's more common than you would imagine. I would not take public transport in LA. Uber, sure. A cab, of course. But did I take any trains in Ireland? No, but in Amsterdam, we took a train to Harlem, and we took another train out to, and it was totally, that's a different kind of train too. That's not city train, but Amsterdam was very safe. I never felt in any danger. I had to avert my eyes every now and then. Where was that? Where we went to the Hague. We had a great dinner at in the Hague with some friends, a young couple that were they're attorneys there at the Hague, and just the sweetest kids. And we met them in Barcelona, and so yeah, pretty fun. So yeah, the portions are really small. When we were in Barcelona, we went to a restaurant. What was that called? Oh, I'm going to have to pull this up. And Beth she doesn't really like that kind of dining, and I don't disagree with her at all. It's like, my definition of gourmet food is like, you go to a really, really nice restaurant, and you go, oh, they have lasagna. Oh, I bet it's amazing lasagna. And you go, I'll have the lasagna. And it's like $70 or something. No, not that much. It's like $38 for lasagna, right? And you get it, and it's not a very big portion. But you start eating it, and you're like, why does it taste like black licorice? And you ask it tastes like black licorice. Oh, that's the fennel. That's our secret ingredient. And I'm like, no secret ingredients. Don't. I've got a drummer that I play with every now and then, and I kind of think of he's a great drummer. He's got great credits. He's done all sorts of stuff, but he's kind of like a gourmet meal. I'll be jamming, we'll be jamming or whatever. He's got this great groove going, doing this great groove, and all of a sudden he'd be like, he's like banging on the cymbal stand or something. Like, why are you doing that? It doesn't make sense to me. It's like, just the groove was great. Don't like, just give me a lasagna that's amazing. I'll pay $30 for a lasagna if it's amazing, but don't put fennel in it. So let's see. We were in Barcelona. Was it no, Edinburgh. And I had all. I was looking for restaurants. The food was pretty good in Edinburgh. I pretty much had good food in Edinburgh. I didn't really have any issues there. Got a lot of things marked here. Let me zoom in. Be interesting if the restaurant was still even there. It was very, very close to our. Is this it here? Six. Yeah, it's called Six by Nico. Six by Nico, and it wasn't that expensive, but it was hilarious because it had one of those frothy things, like, okay, what's this? Is this like chef's saliva? You're like, wait, what am I eating? But ultimately, I thought it was pretty good. Beth was like, it's okay, and we came away, and we went super early because there was the only seating available. Like, I think it was 4:45 was the only available seating, and we got gin fizzes beforehand, so that kind of they had a signature drink, so we ordered those. I felt like it's fine, but I'm trying to think of where we ate. Oh yeah, we ate at the Thistle Bar a lot. Thistle Street Bar was the bar we went to drink at, which was right below us. We went to what's this? Fisher's in the City in Edinburgh. We probably ate 3 meals there. I probably ate 4 meals there. What's that? Fish and chips. It was amazing there. So good. And then the crushed peas with mint. Like, what? That's like a taste explosion. And I don't even like peas, but it was really good. Yeah, right. Too bad the seagull or Sylvester Stallone went on a train. Yeah, I know. I'm like, what? Joseph, you're probably stuck taking public transportation down in Long Beach every now and then. I just can't do it. I did take the train. Actually, that's not true. That wasn't like one of the first times I had jury duty downtown, and they gave us free train tickets, and it was right when they finished the Gold Line, so I could take the train every day for jury duty, which was, I told you about that. That was one of our summer stories. Yeah. So let's see. Sorry, work stuff. All good. The only routes that I've ever taken on train in my life, there are 4. Ann Arbor to Chicago. Yeah, Chicago to Milwaukee and back. Paris to Amsterdam. Oh, very fun, fast. Yeah, Kyoto to Tokyo. Oh, yeah. I think Beth, I think she would like, I got to pull up the map again because this place is crazy. Let's go Reseda. Here it is. I'm gonna share this. Let's see, can I share this? What's that, Gmail? Copy link. Yeah. Here's a link. This will open Google Maps, I think. This place is apparently, it's a strip mall. It's apparently the best sushi restaurant in the world. I'm not kidding. Like, Japanese people will come to, it's like in, where is it, Reseda or Woodland Hills or something? It's like, it's in the valley in a strip mall. Technically, what is it? Canoga Park. There's a joke, like, theme for Canoga Park that the kids used to sing. It's like, even our mascot has a gun. It's like Canoga Park. So it's called Go Sushi? Go's Mart. Go's Mart. It's $100 minimum just to go. It's like, and I don't even know if you get to choose what you see. That's the thing about that documentary, Hero Loves Sushi, or no, Hero Dreams of Sushi. And I love that documentary. And he has like 10 seats. It's like, that's it. But the restaurant doesn't have very good ratings, probably mainly because it's expensive or people couldn't get in or something. So it's, yeah, kind of jealousy or whatever. But yeah, so the train thing though, the trains in Holland were amazing. They were super clean. We did not. Well, we did train in Edinburgh to a castle, and that was great. And I always pay extra for like first class or whatever, just so because we're on vacation, and so just trying to make it as bougie for my queen as possible. we flew first class to Ireland this trip, and it's like. Beth will fly the cheapest airline and not take a bag. She'll go, I can fit everything in this. She'll bring a thing that's smaller than an iPhone, and I can fit everything in that. I'm like, But when she flies with me, it's like, no. When you fly with me, we're definitely going to be doing it a little bit better. I hope so. Generally, not always. I mean, I like Southwest, or I used to like Southwest. I don't know if it's any good anymore, but I like Southwest. Because they, 2 bags. I would always clock in really early or pay a little extra to get like early boarding. So that's, Southwest isn't awful. I'm a United mostly guy. All my points are on United. And that's how we flew first class, was just with points. And I didn't pay for it. I mean, I think my total bill for the tickets to Ireland and back with all the fees and everything was like $600. So for both of us. So it wasn't bad at all. And I upgraded on one of the flights, upgraded to, because part of it was coach, but most of it was first. So I upgraded that. But so Japan, Tokyo, I mean, I loved Japan. I just thought it was beautiful. I thought the people were amazing. The women dressed like models. I mean, they just are dressed up. It's like I love these YouTube videos where it's like the 4K walks, where someone just straps a camera on and they just walk all over a town or something like that. If you do it in Nashville, everyone's wearing jeans, which, okay, it's Nashville. All right, I get that. Or shorts or sweats or whatever. You do it in Tokyo, everyone's dressed up, or the women are particularly dressed up. Everyone's wearing dresses, skirts. We were amazed at how all the women were wearing dresses or skirts in Ireland. We hardly ever saw a woman wearing pants in Ireland. It's such an American thing to be kind of every day is casual Friday. I personally think there should be like a national holiday, like November 1st, National Dress Up Day, where you don't have to, obviously, but just to encourage everybody, dress up, wear a suit, just for no reason. Dress up, wear your Sunday finest. And just, it would be cool to have like a day like that where everyone in like LA was dressed up. I mean, how fun would that be? It would be like, wow, this looks cool. Look at everybody. Everybody looks so good. That's what I would say, Yeah, Southwest is charging with luggage and pre-assigning seats. I knew that. Yeah, if you have, yeah. Yeah, United breaks a guitar. I've never had United break a guitar. I did have Air Canada break a guitar string once, which is really weird. I told you that story. I had to check. I had to gate check it, so I didn't get to take it on the plane. I was teaching a clinic in Toronto, and so on the way back, they made me gate check it, and so I went, and it didn't come down. Like at LAX, it didn't come down the conveyor belt. I'm like, what happened to my guitar? And I went to the desk, and they said, oh, no, we wouldn't put it there. It would be over there. And there was another place where they kind of gingerly put stuff, like come down a chute or whatever. And it was sitting there, thank God. And I opened it up to make sure it was okay, because it was the first time in like 30 flights that I ever had to check it. I did like 36 flights or 40 flights, 40 round trips with two guitars for in 3 years before 9/11. Keep in mind. So my Taylor was in a case, and I opened the case up, and the G string was broken, and I'm like, oh, well, that's weird. Maybe the pressure. And I picked up the guitar to see it was okay, and there was something inside it, and I'm like, what's inside here? And I find it. It's a dime. Someone, I guess, either was strumming the guitar with a dime, because who carries a pick around, right? And they broke a string, and then they just threw the dime in the guitar, like, well, okay, the string cost a dime. I'm like, that string doesn't cost a dime, moron. So, really? No. That's funny. Well, we should celebrate. Americans should celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Actually, Mexico, they don't celebrate Cinco de Mayo. We celebrate it more here. I think schools are closed on Cinco de Mayo. But Cinco de Mayo is really should be an American holiday, because what happened, it was a battle that the Mexicans actually lost, but Napoleon's forces went to Mexico during our Civil War, and the plan was to ravage Mexico and then come back and take the Louisiana Purchase back. And they thought they were going to be able. I think the Alamo a defeat. I'm totally forgetting. I've never lived in Texas, so I never had to know that. All I know the Alamo is from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. So deep in the heart of Texas. But kind of adds to the folklore, right? So. We do not celebrate King's Day, but I know what that is. Some people do. Some people celebrate if they're from that country, they will celebrate it. Some restaurants will do special things, but Cinco de Mayo is big in the U.S. But it's mainly an excuse to party and drink beer, Mexican beer, and have nachos. But what's crazy is that so the Civil War ended, and the Union forces, the North had tens of, if not hundreds of thousands of rifles that they didn't need anymore, that were made, tens of thousands. So we shipped them down to Mexico so that they could fight the French off and Napoleon's forces off down to Mexico. And that's how the Mexicans, that with our help, they fended off the French couldn't match that. But what's interesting is the French did end up occupying Mexico for a while. And the term mariachi is actually, mariachi bands were wedding bands of Mexican musicians hired for French weddings. So that's kind of crazy. Yeah, right? King's Day, we'll celebrate it, right? Sam was like, yeah, I'll celebrate it. Guy Fawkes Day in England, that's right. Yeah. Guy Fawkes Day. And that's that's the day that girls can ask guys out for a date, right? Cinco de Brio. Cinco de Brio. Brian. Or any day of the week with the word day in it. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday. Yeah, Yeah, I know it is funny. Well, the thing is that, but, Dennis, you do have 4th of July in Holland. you, you do have 4th of July in Holland. So people could celebrate it. But yeah, we were in New York on 4th of July. Actually, we drove back on the 4th of July. So we weren't there for the night. We were trying to get out of town before that night because it was going to be crazy. So we were there, I think, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We got in the 2nd, left the 4th, and then went up to Hyde Park for a couple days and then came home. Yeah, so. Also flew first class. First class, well, the thing is, flying first class, we flew first class to New York from LA, and they have in that flight, the United has the lay down bed. So we laid down and we did a red eye so we could sleep all the way there. And then coming back, Jack and Sawyer were on they were on Alaska. So I booked Alaska and I went ahead and booked first class on that. And it was just those like kind of movie theater seats. It wasn't very fancy. I don't remember if the food was any good. Sometimes the food can be really, really good on those flights. The food on the Aer Lingus flight, the Ireland flight, was really, really good both ways. I was very impressed. I had short rib or something. Yeah, braised short ribs. Really, really good. Don't really fly very often anymore. And happy to go coach, but it's just hard when you're bringing guitars and stuff, and then so you fly first, you can kind of get away with some of that stuff. I'll tell you a little thing. When we flew to Edinburgh, we flew coach to London, and then London to Edinburgh, I said, okay, let me go to British Air and find a flight there. And it wasn't expensive. I think it was 120 round trip for coach or something like that. But you had to pay for bags, and it was like we had one bag, but it was going to be $100 each way. So that's another $200. And we had like an 8-hour layover in London, I think. Or no. Yeah. Or no. Yeah. Because I put a lot of space in there. It wasn't 8, it was like 6 hours or 4.5, 5 hours, something like that, just in case our flight was late. Although with a non-stop direct flight, we'd have less worries. But if we were late, we'd miss our flight. And the thing is, if you book first, you don't have to worry about, they'll automatically book you on the next available flight. You don't have to pay anything. It's all covered. The other thing came with free bags and a meal, and we didn't have anybody sitting next to us. But it was just the same seats that were in coach, but they had a table on the seat between us. So the seats were identical. There's a little curtain there, so we're special. But we actually had tea, high tea. So we had finger food, like little cucumber sandwiches and tea and all that, and scones, and it was amazing. It was an 1.5-hour flight, but they gave us high tea. So, the tea, because it was right around that time. We got in at like 9 in the morning, and then that flight was at 4 or something. So it was like, and the other thing that was great about flying first, and I'll tell you the price in a second, was that we got to go to the first class lounge the whole time. So we had a free meal there, and we got to just chill out, and it was really nice. I think you take a shower, you have a private bathroom, you can take a shower and everything. And so when I factored the price of everything, it was actually the same price as coach to fly business or first. It was, instead of being 120 each, like 240 round trip to go to Edinburgh from London, it was like $560. It was like $300 each. It was like, it would have cost us, what was that, 240 plus 200. That would have been 440 plus if we were to buy lounge tickets to be able to. And I don't even know if you can buy lounge tickets for some place. Some allow you and some don't. And they're not cheap. They're usually $70 or something like that. So now you're talking another 140 if you want to hang out in the lounge. So yeah, you can Oh, it's like trick or treat. Oh, interesting. Not Halloween per se. People don't necessarily dress up, but they hand out candy and stuff. Right. That's right. We have November 11th is Veterans Day. What's a lampoon? Lampoon like a spear? No, that's a harpoon. Lampoon. What's a lampoon? I know what National Lampoon is, but I didn't know lampoons were a thing. I thought lampoon was making fun of something. A stick with a light. Okay. Oh, like a lamp. Poons. Lampoon. That's a funny word. Is that word now? My understanding is that like shampoo is an Indian word, like from India, like Delhi. That shampoo is an Indian word. Shampoo. Let me see if that's true. Oops. Shampoo word origin. See if that gets me an answer. Oh, Turkish, maybe. That makes more sense in my opinion, but let's see. Origin 18th century Anglo-Indian term. Shampoo, yeah. Which is an imperative form of the Hindu verb shampoo. Yeah. So it actually is a traditional part of hygiene practices in the Indian subcontinent and entered the English language during the colonial era. Interesting. Yeah. I heard that somewhere. It was a word we use every day, and it's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, mocker, exactly. Huh. Let me look up lampoon. See if I can find a picture of it. What would I add to that, though? Lampoon. Yeah, let's see. Stick with light. Stick light. And then click on images and see what happens. Careful clicking on images. No. Let's see. Would that be Amsterdam? Yeah. Amsterdam. Now I have to be really careful. Clicking on images. Anything with Amsterdam in it. That was a funny thing. Like I had... I had marked, of course, before we go anywhere on a trip, we mark a lot of things on my Google, Google Maps and places I want to see. And I'm like, oh, and there were two churches in Amsterdam, really old churches. Neither one of them are churches anymore. One's like a Buddhist temple and the other one's an art gallery. But they're beautiful churches. One was very, anyway, we go to one and they wanted like, I don't know, 15 euros to walk around the art gallery. And I was kind of like, it's all right. I don't think it was fine. Let's go get some food. And then I go, but let's walk over to the other one. We walk over to the other one and we're walking down this kind of alley to get to it. And I can see the church at the end of the alley and this like open courtyard thing. And I'll find it here. I'll pull it up. And as soon as we got into the courtyard, I saw a glimpse of red and I looked over and went, oh my goodness. It was the biggest lady I'd ever seen in the tiniest little leopard leotard in a window with red lights all around her. And I went, okay, let's go back. I'm like, I guess there's a market for that. Okay. It was like, oh my goodness. That was hilarious. All right, let's see. Because I have the church marked. I didn't mark the window. Amsterdam. All right, here it is. Here's my maps. And anything I have marked in here? This is weird. Oh no. Went to Amsterdam, New York. No. What are you doing? All right. Yeah, I see a lot of things marked. It's funny because I used stars back then. Was it D? Are you telling me what it is? Yeah, that's the old church area. Yeah, it was, I think it was it this one? No. We went to church there. It was good. It was good. It was so funny. We saw someone that looked exactly like Jack sitting in the, yeah, I think it was New Kirk. Is that right? Let me see. I gotta zoom in on this. Wait. Oh, might have been the old Kirk. No, it was definitely a very. It was near the palace. I don't think it was that. Been pretty quiet next door. It was really loud this morning, but it got quiet. They're tearing down most of the house next door right now to build a bigger house. All right. Wow, I don't. Okay, gotta get rid of that. Sorry. I'm just trying to find the. I thought I marked it, but I'm not seeing. Our hotel was really kind of nice. Although I think it was a brothel back in the day. Oh, no, it wasn't that church. Oh, okay. Let's see. We stayed at, where is it? The Torin. Yeah, we stayed at the Torin. Yeah, 4-star hotel. It was very nice. Our room was great, I thought. But it was like, oh, we used to have, sailors used to sleep here and stuff like that. It was like, oh, really? Sailors used to sleep there? Okay, I know what that means. It was like a boarding house for sailors and merchant marines and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, I know what that is. The new church, is that the one? The new church? I guess that was. So that was that one. Let me, because I have it. Yeah, yeah. So let me zoom in on that. Let's see if I can do. It seems weird though. Like I'm not seeing road. See, that's putting me inside the church. I don't remember. Go here. And this doesn't look right. I don't. But that was one of the churches. There were two churches and the other one was the one that was kind of in a courtyard. And like I said, I saw a glimpse of red and went, oh goodness gracious. But yeah, so oh, Lampion. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let me search that now. Sorry. Lampion. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, but that looks more like, well, these are all Chinese. Let me do Holland. Now it's just places to buy Chinese lamps in Holland. Oh wait, here's the pictures of kids. Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, I see. I get the gist. I think I see what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know where we're gonna go next. A son of a friend of ours was just in Iceland, and it looks amazing. Has anybody been to Iceland? One of the things, I'm kind of limited to traveling in the summer because of Beth's job. I loved Amsterdam in December. I thought it was just really beautiful. I love how Europe decorates for Christmas. They're really unafraid of it. Kirktoren. Oh, tower. Okay, torn. Yeah, that's how it was spelled too. Um, the Torin. Yeah, it was well. All the houses are tall and skinny. I love, I love the story of that because you were charged tax based on the width of your width of your house, and it's crazy too because they all slightly lean forward because and they so when they're lifting furniture up to the higher floors, the furniture isn't banging against the as it goes up. It's pretty fascinating. I mean, it's to me, it's always interesting the things that people do to avoid paying taxes, and I'm right there in line with them. I mean, you know, oh, who's this? Who lost their guitars? Oh, Johnny Marr guitars for the Smiths reported the incident. Oof. Oh, UPS. Oh, guitar. All. Oh, UPS. I have a UPS story about guitars. I have a worship leader friend. I haven't seen him in years, who lives in Kansas City. And he UPS has a hub in Kansas City, and any lost or damaged merchandise or undeliverable and damaged merchandise goes to this giant warehouse, and then every year they sell stuff. Like every year they'll put stuff out on tables and people come by, and I don't know if they put prices on them or if they have auctions or how it works. What's his name? I can see his face. But he went there, and there was a Collins slot head guitar. Beautiful case, gorgeous case. I mean, and the headstock was broken off. So the headstock's in there, the guitar's in there, and he said he like, I think it was like $300 or something, and he goes, the case is worth $300. So he bought it. He gets home, he takes his guitar home, he's looking at the neck, and he's looking at the headstock. He's looking at the neck, he's looking at the headstock, and he's like, it was like this V-shaped mounting thing, and he was like, that looks like a really clean brick. Like, he can't see any wood chips or anything missing. So he just shoved the neck, the headstock into the neck. And then he was like, wow, that's a perfect fit. And he couldn't pull it out. So he went, well, that's crazy. So he strung it up, tuned it up. He goes, this thing's amazing. It plays perfect. And it was like, and he took some glue and he kind of shot it into some of the crack there. He goes, I wish I didn't need to do that. He goes, he ended up having to kind of clean off a lot of the, because it didn't really, there was nothing there. And it was a dovetail joint. Thank you, Stam. I couldn't think of it. And he goes, check it out. And he had it with him and he handed it to me and I played it. It was like, this thing, in fact, is part of the reason why I got a slot head after that, because I heard, well, this is great. Slot heads, you know, the fretboards, you know, it's the neck, the body joins at the 12th fret. It's a little different. The scale's different. It has a different tone. The body's usually smaller, kind of like a classical guitar, kind of, but different. And it was gorgeous sounding, really, really beautiful. So, yeah, I hear everything's really expensive in Iceland. I also hear that they're very strict about speed limits there. So you really have to be careful. It looks gorgeous. I think we would probably do something where we would buy a lot of groceries and then just eat in the room or something. I know that Iceland Air, is it Iceland Air, the airline, their airline, they have a deal where if you want to stay there, if you use their airline to go to Europe or to go to the UK, the US or whatever, and you want to stay overnight a few nights, you can do it, and they won't charge you any different price for a stayover. So that's kind of cool. Normally, if if you do, hey, I'd like to do a 48-hour stay over, they treat it as a different fare. Like if we want, we were in Vienna for 23 and a half hours, and we didn't have to pay extra. And so we went ahead and got a room. I mean, I booked that ticket because, hey, we took the kids. It was when we went to Rome. We went through Vienna, and the kids were little. And so we walked around Vienna and had a hotel. And that was crazy. The hotel we got was Schönberg Palace, right across the street from Schönberg Palace. And I think that's right. And my aunt told me later when I told her where we stayed, she goes, oh, because she'd been to Vienna 1,000 times. She goes, your grandparents stayed there. I booked them a room there. I said, you're kidding. I stayed at the same hotel my grandparents did years later with my kids, with their great-grandchildren. And the kids saw their first snow there, which was really cool. So they got to play in the snow and make a snowman and have a snowball fight in Vienna. I'm spoiled of those kids. We weren't rich. We had, that flight was basically free. That was the one where we volunteered to be bumped in Vienna on the way home. And they gave me something like 3,500 euros or something to bump because we had 5 seats. And I'm like, sure, we'll bump. We're on vacation. What do we care? And we actually made our connection in New York and got home at the same time we would have anyway. We had an 8-hour layover in New York, but so instead of going directly to New York, we went Rome, Vienna, Frankfurt, New York, LA. It was a long day. The kids were exhausted, but I had like $3,500 in my pocket. It was cash. They handed me cash. I was like, you're freaking kidding me. I wasn't expecting anything. They said, go over there, order a meal. I told you this story. Go over there, order a meal, whatever you want, we'll pay for it. I'm like, great. So we go over there, hey, free meal. So we're sitting there eating a meal and our plane takes off and I'm like, and nothing happens. And I'm like, did they forget about us? And then somebody finally came like a half hour after the plane took off. Beth and I were like, what do we do? We didn't have phone. This is before we had like iPhones or anything like that. You couldn't do squat with anything. Someone came over, please come with me. I'm like, oh, good. Okay. And they came over and they were booking us new tickets and putting us on flights and stuff like that. And, and then he goes, oh, here, sign these 5 pieces of paper for each ticket. Okay, blah, blah, blah. And then they started counting out these 100 euro bills. I'm like, what? And there was like 30 of them. I'm like, okay. So that was pretty amazing. Yeah, well, when we went to Paris the first time, euros weren't. It was right after 9/11, and the euro was 86 cents. And that was crazy because we flew for free then because we had volunteered to be bumped twice in Denver, and they gave us, what was it, $300 each per bump. So it was so we got $3,000 in travel vouchers, and then 9/11 happens, and airfare to Paris went down to like, I think the kids were $275 and we were $375. That was weird. I don't remember ever paying a different price for the kids than for us. That was the only time that happened. It was like $275 round trip to Paris from LA, nonstop, for the kids, and we had it was a couple $1,000s in travel vouchers. We didn't even use them all, and then we ended up using them to fly to Indiana the next summer. So we ended up getting 2 trips out of those travel vouchers. But it was $375 for Beth and I to fly. That's the only time I don't remember that even being a thing. And we're talking about. Oh yeah, Scandinavia. Yeah, Amsterdam. I don't know. When I'm on vacation, I kind of factor that in. And the taxes on rent-a-car. Yeah, a rent-a-car in Ireland was very expensive. I think it was $1,700, and it was mostly taxes. I think technically, the country of Ireland is in the rental car business. It's like California. I don't smoke. I've never smoked. But like a pack of cigarettes is like $9. And the tobacco companies make 11 cents on that pack. So California is in the tobacco business, not Philip Morris. which, by the way, I own stock in Philip Morris because it pays like a 9% dividend. It's like one of the most consistent dividends. I love dividend stocks, and so I'm like, okay. I have a lot of politically incorrect stocks. I have Pfizer. I have Intel. Well, Intel's not politically correct. I have Walmart. At one point, Walmart was the evilest company in the world for some reason. Usually, whoever's the biggest company in the world is the evilest company in the world, is what I've noticed. When Microsoft was the biggest company in the world, they were evil. Right now, the biggest company in the world is NVIDIA, I think, as far as market capitalization. So, you're getting used to it, Dennis. Yeah, and that was the thing. Hardly anyone was driving in Amsterdam. Obviously, it's the bike to car ratio was 20-1, and bikers were crazy. You didn't have to worry about the cars. The cars weren't going to hurt you. It was the bikers that were going to run you over. And so you had to be very cautious when you're walking around Amsterdam. It was just Beth and I, though. We didn't have little kids. I'll tell you, though, having little kids in Rome, oh, my goodness. Those city streets in Rome, I mean, talk about driving crazy. Everyone drove really nice in Ireland. Everybody was very kind to me. I was driving on the left-hand side for the first time I ever drove in Europe at all. But I figured, like you guys know, I told you this. That's why we did that trip, was because I want to do the driving trips before we get too much older. And Iceland is one of those driving trips. You can't. The only way to get around Iceland is to rent a car. So I'll look into it. Iceland might be one of those things you can do everything you need to do in 4 or 5 days and then go somewhere else. Maybe go to. I'd love to go to Denmark. Go to Copenhagen. I say Copenhagen because I think I'm being like correct. And then my friend from Copenhagen says, no, it's Copenhagen. I said, really? You guys don't say Copenhagen? He goes, ah, like Haagen-Dazs? No, we say Copenhagen. I went, I didn't know that. I'm trying to be all like, woo, it's like, Minerva Perez, when they, on the news, when they talk normal and then they say, they're like speaking normal, like American English, and all of a sudden they say their name and it's, what was it? Her name was Minerva Perez. And she'd go, Minerva Perez. All of a sudden, she'd crack out the accent for her name. And I mean, I grew up in Indiana, and I had friends named Garcia. Like not Garcia, it was Garcia. It was just, in Indiana. It was like anyone who had a Spanish last name, they just looked like me. They didn't look at, they were as Anglo as I was. I mean, as far as I knew, they were from Europe. So, bike to people ratio 1.6-1. That's funny. So that would say that most people have 2 bikes. 1.6. It's skewing above 1.5. So that would say most of the population has 2 bikes. That's interesting. I guess so, in case you have a backup. If you're alone and your bike breaks, you want to have another bike. I guess that makes sense. I mean, I saw a lady. It was raining there a lot, and it was raining, and she had 2 kids, one on her handlebar, a little baby, and one behind her, sitting there kind of looking around. None of them had helmets on, and she's hauling around the streets and taking corners, leaning into corners. I'm like, if I were doing that, it would just go right out from under me. We did not rent bikes, and Beth isn't allowed to be on 2 wheels, so she's had a couple accidents on bikes, and she's not allowed to be on bikes anymore. So, oh, you drove to Amsterdam when the volcano in Iceland canceled. Oh, that's right, not much parking, no. Paris is brutal, too. Yeah, so when we were in Dublin, I didn't rent the car there. We were in Dublin for 2 nights, and we flew into Dublin, Ubered to the hotel, stayed there for 2 nights, Ubered out to the suburbs, rented a car there. See, I'm thinking here. I didn't want to drive in the city, though. I wanted to deal with that. I immediately pulled out of the Enterprise rent-a-car place, and I had my first roundabout on the left-hand side, but mostly just mild suburban streets until I got onto the freeway, which was, once I was on the freeway, it just felt like I was in LA, except the steering wheel was on the wrong side. So that was pretty crazy. But you were born there, Jan. Yeah. So, Yeah. Both of the, we only took 2 Ubers, one from the airport and one to the airport in Amsterdam. Everything else was trains. But we got a great tour of The Hague by The Hague, whatever, from the lawyers, the attorneys that we met in Barcelona, and we met them. Part of the reason I went to Amsterdam was so we could see them, and phenomenal day. They showed us all over. They had access to all sorts of things, so we got to see some cool stuff. And then in the president's house, which is, there's no fence or anything. It's just sitting there on the water, right there in that little lake. Crazy, right there. We went to, like I said, a really, really good French restaurant for dinner. Wine pairing. That was the first time I'd ever done a wine pairing menu. And basically, we let the chef, who was their friend, just pick the menu for us. And it wasn't ultimately that expensive. I think it was like, I think I paid for dinner because they were young kids. I didn't want, even though they probably made more money than me, I was like, I'll pay for dinner, and it was like $200 or something like that. It wasn't for 5 people to have or 4 people to have a paired meal. It wasn't bad at all. So, and bike lanes are intersections get green light. Yeah, at the same time. Yeah. They're doing that in Pasadena, and it's insanely confusing. They took this one road called Union Street, and it was just the nicest street because there were no lights on it, and everybody that intersected with it had to stop. And it was a one-way street, and nobody knew about it. And so you could get from one side of Pasadena to the other with just a few lights. And then what they did was they took away half of it for bike lanes and weird parking. And then they put lights on the bike lanes, and then we have lights, and they're different. Like there's left turn lights. And it's like, it's so complex now. And was on it the other day, and I maybe saw 40 cars, and I didn't see a single bike on it. I mean, most people in LA, if it's 100 degrees out, and you're going to work, you're not wearing a suit on a bike to go to work in 100-degree weather. It's just not going to happen. You're going to sit in your air-conditioned car, especially if you have an hour commute, which is not unusual for LA people. Going past roundabouts? I don't know. We have roundabouts out here a little bit every now and then. There's Carmel, Indiana, where I used to teach guitar lessons. There was not a single roundabout when I was there. But now it's the roundabout capital of America, I think. They have more roundabouts per capita than anywhere else. Holly, living in Antwerp for 3 months, I didn't drive a car the whole time. Yeah, I wouldn't drive a car. I wouldn't own a car. Train to Paris. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I do. If I lived in Europe, I would be flying or training every weekend to a different city in Europe. Heck, if I lived in New York City, I would be flying to Europe on any long weekend. It's such a short flight from there, comparative to here. It's like people will go to Hawaii for long weekends in LA. It's a 5-6 hour flight, but people will go to Hawaii for 4 nights or something like that from here. But you wouldn't do that from New York. That's way too long of a flight. So, try to find a Swamp Feet's location if you ever visit, Sam. Swamp Feet, is that a bike place? Oh, they all ride with blue tires. Oh, fun. Yeah, Amsterdam was phenomenal. I really liked it. Like I said, we went at Christmas time specifically so that I could see a European city lit up for Christmas. We went to a Christmas market. Those are all over Europe. It's not really a thing here. They have one here in LA now. It's it's like a Bavarian Christmas market. And I think just to go into it, it's like $30. It's ridiculous. It's like Christmas markets in Europe are free. The whole point is it's a bunch of stores. You don't pay to go to stores. So I was like, I'm not going. I get Instagram ads for this. I'm ranting now. Been talking for 2.5 hours, and I'm ranting. All right, so if you go way back in this lesson, you'll way back, you'll find some sweeping stuff we talked about. I don't know. We'll keep talking about this, Sam. I don't know. Sam, you didn't get much education here. We're talking all about Europe and stuff. And like I said, I don't know where our next trip is. Iceland, maybe? I don't know. I really had a hard time picking the last one. Nothing. I would go, oh, let's do this. And then I'd start watching a bunch of videos and go, it looks okay. And there's a lot of the U.S. I haven't seen. And if we ever think about leaving California, retiring somewhere, I'd want to go there a few times so I know it and make the right decision, you know. But I don't know if we'll ever do that. I mean, I like our house, unless the crime gets worse or the homelessness gets worse, which is pretty bad. Both are bad here. You know, if it's encroaching too much or we have too much, we've got people, you know, building all around us, these ADUs, adding apartments to the back of their houses and stuff like that. And it's like, parking gets to be a nightmare. You can't find a parking space at your own house, you know, whatever. So, you know, I thought I was moving to the suburbs, and it was when we moved here 6 years ago, and it's already getting more crowded. So they changed the laws in California so that you can take any house and turn it into an apartment building if you want. It's like, so what that did was, instead of increasing home ownership, it was a lot of rich people buying up single family homes and then turning them into apartments. And so it's kind of annoying. I don't like it. I mean, you work your butt off so you can live in a place where you're not living on top of people if you want to. Some people love to live in a city, and I lived in an apartment for 32 years. I mean, and I managed that stupid building for 25 years. So I dealt with people all the time. And part of the thing I like about the suburbs is I back into my garage and I go in my house and I don't talk to anybody. I'll talk to people everywhere I go, but it's just like, you know, when I'm at home, it's like, yeah, I'm done. Especially after, like I said, managing an apartment building for 25 years. Ba-dum-bum. Oh, yeah. Sorry about the way it was. I had to do them each individually, Sam. Um, um, oh, yeah, those pics. Yeah, those are fun. Yeah, I had to do them individually because I tried to do them on one neck thing, and I just couldn't get it. Like, I couldn't get them individual enough. So, I mean, I could have figured it out, but anyway. So, all right, everybody. So next week, you know, if you think of it, go to Discord and say, hey, you know, what do you want to do? We could talk about maybe soloing over different progressions and things like that. We've talked about soloing over blues. Catherine soloed over fast car. And you know, almost always the first place you want to start is kind of blues and go from there, kind of approach it from a blues perspective and then try to go from there. It's a good starting place anyway for soloing. And you can kind of play blues almost over anything. So anyway, it was amazing. I don't know that, Jan. I hope so. I'm just chit-chatting, showing you pictures of New York. All right. You're welcome. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. I will talk to you soon. Hopefully next Monday, Lord willing. And that's it. God bless. Bye.